Hello friends, welcome to the White Horse Manor channel. Well, our chicks are starting to grow up actively, and the brooder is already getting too small for them. In about a week they will need to be moved to another place, we will need to make cages, and we will need a separate room. Keeping them in the basement, well, that's not really a good idea either. First of all, there's the smell that starts to come up from the basement into the house. Right now they're still small, so you hardly notice it. When you go into the basement, there's just a slight smell. But when they grow up, the smell will get stronger. Right now we're constantly cleaning up after them, but the smell will increase. That's why we need a separate room where we'll keep the broilers in the future, where we'll keep the pedigree birds. Actually, not really keep them, but they'll stay there for some time. Broilers will likely always stay in that room since they don't need to move. That's why they're raised for meat. And the birds themselves will need to spend some time out of the brooder, and we'll probably move the brooder itself into that room later. They should stay there so that we don't have to use the basement of our house anymore. And accordingly, I'm standing in the place where I plan to make this room. So, the room will be located here. It's about 2.5 meters by 3.2 meters. Why did we decide to use this room? First, there's already a finished wall here. We plan to make the feeding area on the other side, but for now, we're storing rolls there to avoid keeping them outside. We already have experience that no matter how you cover the hay, closer to spring, when the rains start and the snow melts actively, the hay still gradually starts to rot. That's why you have to keep an eye on it all the time, but here it's dry and in good condition, so that's why we decided to use that wall. In the future, we want to set up a proper feed area there, where we'll have all our grinders and all our equipment for grain, and for our animals to be kept there. Plus, there will probably be a medicine cabinet there as well, and so on. Right now, of course, our feed area is temporary. Basically, it's a storage warehouse for all the grain we have, and it's kept here in bags. You can see here what I've already done. This is the beginning, and there will be something like a wall here. First of all, we've already bought the foam board, and it's been sitting here since last year. You know what times are like now, so we need to do this with what we have. Plus, this room is for our young animals, for the birds and for the broilers, and in the future it needs to be insulated so that a certain temperature can be maintained. In the future, if we keep something here in the winter or early spring, it will still be cool here, because we don't use any heating elements. In the barn, specifically in this room, there will probably be one of the heaters, something like a heat exchanger or something similar. That's why the room will be insulated in advance. Dear friends, my screwdriver has already started to wear out, it's already tired, so I got a new screwdriver with an impact mechanism and drilling function. So, you can hammer, drill, and of course screw with this screwdriver. It comes with a convenient case and two reliable batteries. The screwdriver has a comfortable rubberized handle, the back part is also rubberized as well as the sides. So, when we put it down or God forbid it falls, it's protected here. The rubberized sides and the comfortable handle make it easy to use. Like many other screwdrivers, you can safely stand it upright, so it won't be lying around or getting dirty, for example, if you drop it in the dirt or something like that. The screwdriver has functions for drilling and hammering. I'll continue working with the new screwdriver, and you can watch how it performs and how I use it to make our new room for the chicks. You can find the link to this screwdriver and all VCare products in the description. This is the wall we've made. At the bottom I dug under the foam board. About 5 to 7 centimeters it went into the sand. Well, I think that will be enough because in the future I'll need to make a floor on this side as well, like this, and here I'll also need to cover it with oriented strand board. All of this will be covered up and it will be a very strong wall, so I decided not to use too much material here, not to use too many boards. Alright, we've dealt with the wall, now we need to make a door so we can enter here. Well, as always, I'm running out of wide, thick boards. I used to have a lot of 50mm boards, 150 by 50. But construction is always going on here all the time. But it's good that I have old boards, although as you can see they're crooked like this. So now we'll make beams out of these boards, making do as best we can. By the way, you can also write in the comments how you solve this issue. I pulled the rope tight and will use this rope as a guide for the cut. Now I'll quickly go over it with a pencil and finish marking it. The board is so good, almost perfect, it's really well preserved. Another wall is ready. The boards are already coated with lime, just need to soak them one more time and they'll be really white. These are newer boards here, kind of new old, so to speak. Well, in general it's fine here, we just keep going like this. We still need to cover this part and make a door. Dear friends, everything turned out fine. The window is shining brightly over there just from that side, so I'm trying to film from the side. There's a gap here, about 2 millimeters on this side, and besides, I'll have to plane it down a bit somewhere. That's going to have to be done anyway. Other than that, everything is even for now. It fits nicely. Here. Right now it's lying completely on this board on the bottom one, basically on the threshold. Yeah, that's why I have a 5 millimeter gap at the top here, so it'll be 2.5 millimeters at the top and 2.5 millimeters at the bottom. Then I'll need to make a door frame as well, also from slats. I'll nail them here and at the top, so the door fits tightly. For example, there's no frame here, so I'll need to do all that here too, so the door fits tightly and less heat escapes from here. Well, plus I'll need to come up with something else. Maybe some insulation here. I'll just put an oriented strand board sheet on this door and that's it. No need for any braces. It will hold the whole door perfectly, and for the oriented strand board sheet, I'll need to put some insulation behind it. Well, that's basically the idea. Unfortunately, I don't have an oriented strand board sheet right now, and I'm also running out of boards. There are only 3 or 4 6-meter boards left for this door. I feel a bit sorry to use them since I still need to buy some more materials anyway, so I'll get a few more oriented strand board sheets and just cover this door with one of them. That's about it. For now, the door is basically done. I just need to cut this sheet and basically attach it to the door frame. The room turned out like this. Everything here is good. All that's left is to insulate everything, so that everything will be fine. From ordinary simple things that we had left over, some materials, I quickly made this little room. Of course, it's not finished yet, but everything will be done. As they say, you ask for videos, you ask me to release them more often. If I continue with the door, I'll have to wait a few more days for the materials until they bring the oriented strand board, until they bring the other materials. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you want. Goodbye, everyone.